Hello, everybody. It's me, Bigfoot, Michigan Rob. It's Friday. Happy Good Friday to you for those that celebrate. This upcoming Sunday, happy Easter to you as well. This is a fantastic encounter story took place in Colorado in 2020. I'm going to get on with it. Please share to Bigfoot Michigan Rob. If you care to donate, the Super Thanks is open. And if you missed yesterday's show, Brunch with Bigfoot Michigan Rob, Barry Brown, what a great show. What a great researcher. A lot of great stories. The first 30 minutes, you get me talking about my time loss on Lake Erie because Barry did have some technical issues to start. Nonetheless, Barry's coming back. I'm going to get on with this story. It's fantastic. I hope you enjoy it. Please leave a comment, like, share, subscribe. Back during the Christmas season in 2020, my wife and family spent time at our family ranch style home outside of Estes Park in Colorado. We love the view of the mountains and the forest surrounding our 2,000 square foot home. It just feels like Christmas with the snow and the beautiful scenery. Typically, we spend November and December during winter and July and August during summer. We had purchased the ranch back in 2015 after successfully selling our family business in the home improvement market. Our main home is located outside of Denver. We loved owning both properties, one for relaxation, with the other keeping up with the typical hustle and bustle of the mainstream. We were fortunate enough to appreciate both lifestyles. In 2020, this was the first time since purchasing the Estes Park home that we did not arrive until the first week in December. Like I mentioned earlier, we normally spend November there as well, but my wife Brenda's mother became terminally ill, so we found it best to stay within a close proximity to Brenda's mom. My 23-year-old son Jake lived with us, and our daughter Ann, a few years older than Jake, was married and lived on the West Coast in Los Angeles with her husband Bob, who owns a thriving real estate business. In fact, it was Bob who found this beautiful gem at Estes Park through one of his real estate partners in Colorado. One of the best things about our home, it was private, yet we were friends with the three other homeowners on this section of land. To give you a better picture, there are 4 houses spread apart about a quarter mile in between parcels. The other 3 homeowners were living here prior to us, with differing time periods from 3 to maybe 4 years. So were newer to this part of Colorado. We had privacy, and at the same time, during summer, it was a quick golf cart ride over to visit our neighbors, or in the winter, we could jump on our snow machine during the winter times. When we pulled up early that December, and after settling into our home, Jake and I went off to look for a Christmas tree. To cut it down in our beautiful forest with the mountains serving as a backdrop to our house. Surprisingly, for this time of year, there was perhaps a foot of snow covering the ground. We revved up our Yamaha snowmobile, connected our trailer to the sled for the tree, and we sped off. We reached the tree line, which was lined with great prospects for my son and I to choose from. Upon our approach, I noticed footprints or tracks paralleling the tree line. What was most unusual is these tracks were not of the usual animals that roam the forest. These appeared to be human-like. You could actually see toes. Now, some were covered with snow being blown about the tracks, and certainly some snow had melted. Several, however, were very distinctive with a variety of sizes. I had pulled out my measuring tape and recorded sizes of 23 inches long by 7 inches wide, by 19 inches long by 5 inches wide, and a smaller set that was only about 11 inches long by 4 inches wide. They were all in a straight pattern along the tree line, then turned back into the forest about 10 feet. Then the prints were gone. My son and I were excited about this finding, yet perplexed at the sudden vanishing of the tracks further into the woods. My son and I immediately started asking each other if these were Sasquatch prints. Jake and I loved and believed in Bigfoot. In fact, my brother, Steve, did Bigfoot research and was always telling us about his findings. So we were very well informed on the subject. We took some pictures to show my wife and started looking for our tree. About a half hour into our search for our Christmas tree, pine cones started being tossed at us from the depths of the woods. Startled, my son and I just knew that this had to be Bigfoot. We were not scared. The cones can't hurt us, and they all fell just about 4 or 5 feet in front of us. This went on for about 5 minutes. Then it stopped. Jake and I continued on, looking for our tree to cut down. We were excited about getting our tree and even more excited to get back and tell Brenda what we had experienced. We found our tree, cut it down, loaded it on our trailer, and just before starting the Yamaha sled, a very loud and thunderous whoop was blasted out from the forest. We didn't start the snowmobile. We waited a few moments to listen for another whoop. Nothing more could be heard, and we started back to the ranch. I immediately told Brenda, and she shared in the excitement that exuded from Jake and I. We calmed down a little bit, and we prepared dinner. Later in the evening, around 8 p.m., the moon was high, and it was bright, and the snow glistened upon the ground. Our family was sitting around our fireplace and admiring our brand new Christmas tree. Brenda said, "Honey and Jake, you have outdone yourselves on this tree." Almost immediately after Brenda praised our accomplishment, we heard a very loud whoop from outside our home. We sat and we listened. Then another whoop, then another, and another, and another. There were about 5 whoops. They all had very different tones. The thing about these vocalizations is that one sounded just like the earlier one Jake and I had heard. The second was not quite as thunderous, perhaps a bit softer, if that makes sense. There was also a third. The third sounded not nearly as deep. It had no boom or no bass to it, is the best way I can describe it. Jake said, "Dad, it makes sense. We saw 3 different sets of tracks earlier, suggesting that maybe we had a family of Sasquatch just outside our house." We all ran to our large picture window that faced the woodline. We could hear the whoops, but we could not see anything. The moon did light up the snow, but still it was too dark to see. Then suddenly my son said, "Dad, look." He pointed to my wife and I as to where to look outside the window. There we saw an amazing sight. Standing outside of the tree line was 3 sets of glowing green eyes that were blinking. The moon cast a shadow of 3 figures, all ranging from really tall to about a foot or so shorter, and to one that was half the size. So now there's 3 shadows, all 3 different sizes that they can see from the woods. They can see green blinking eyes, everybody. Pretty cool. They go on to say, this I do believe was a family of Bigfoot. I am guessing a male, a female, and a juvenile. Putting a height on the Sasquatch, I would estimate the tallest at maybe 9 feet, the second one perhaps 8 feet, and the smaller one rounding out to be maybe about 5 feet tall. We all had gazed in amazement. I did not even think to grab a camera. Then, suddenly, the green eyes disappeared, and you could just barely see the shadowy figures disappear back into the tree line. Again, this took place in 2020. Certainly, we still own our ranch in Estes, Colorado, and despite never having a visual of these Sasquatch, we from time to time over the past 3 years still hear the whoops. We hear them in the distance. We all know that Bigfoot are close, and we all are still waiting for our first visual. I am sure one day that we will get this experience. Thank you, Rob, for allowing this to be read on your show. Signed, Roger. Well, Roger, that was a great story. I hope you all enjoyed it. Nice and calming. A family of Bigfoot in Colorado. Sounds like the guy's got a fabulous place. I'd love to be out there and check that out, wouldn't you? Again, subscribe to Bigfoot Michigan Rob on YouTube. You guys have a fabulous Friday, a great Easter. I will see you next Tuesday on Beyond BMR with Sarah Bignell. Sarah does for Australia. Yes, she's from Australia, Yowie Central. She is like the Sasquatch Chronicles queen, like West Germer does for us here in the States. Check it out, Tuesday at 9 East. Again, have a great holiday. Love each and every single one of you. And don't forget, the Super Share is open if you care. Have a great day.